Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and I have got a haul here to share with you of goodies that I've found from various op shops. We have three here in Bowen, the small country beach town where I live, and I have been taking to going to these op shops about once every 2 weeks because I love how you just never know what you're going to find each week, and what kind of treasures you might stumble upon just totally randomly. You have no idea. And I've been really enjoying it and been putting up quite a few different haul videos over on my Patreon and for my beautiful members. This one though, I've got quite a large haul to share with you, so I thought I'd share this one on my channel and give you a little look at the types of things that I look for at op shops, and how I kind of plan to use them and all that kind of thing. So I've been really enjoying, like I said, going to op shops a lot more this year because every 2 weeks, that's quite frequent, isn't it? And one of the reasons I've been doing that is because I actually don't have supplies to make journals anymore in terms of just random themed journals. Yes, I've got a lot of vintage French ephemera, which is why I've been making a lot of vintage French journals recently. And other than that though, everything else in terms of my supplies, I'm just looking around my room, like I do have a lot of supplies, but not enough to make a themed journal. So I'm down to my last botanical books, for example, and aside from that, I've got miscellaneous like papers and ephemera that, I can't really, it doesn't inspire me. People ask me like, how do you decide what journals to make? Where do you get your inspiration from? And I often say it's from the supplies. I just look around my room, see what I have enough of to be able to make a journal with, and then I go ahead and make it. But recently, because the last couple of years, or maybe the last few years, I've had a bit of a no spend policy. I moved house and had to declutter and all this kind of stuff, and be a bit more frugal. So for the last few years, I have been very strict with my spending for my business, for Willowbound Journals and my journal making. I had this kind of rule where I would only purchase items if it was replacing an item or if I needed it to make a journal. For example, I replace my washi tape because I need that to make the spines of my journals. That's an essential tool for me. Paper clips, tape, sewing thread. I always get more of those because I need them. Glue. I need glue all the time. And then like things like the vintage French ephemera, I don't need those ones to make journals, but I did end up buying some of that because I'm working on a collection of 12 vintage French journals at the moment, and they've been sitting on my shelf for about 2 years. And so I needed the vintage French materials to be able to finish that collection, for example. So anyway, I've got to the point where I've decluttered enough. I've used the mental health fundraiser as well to be able to help me declutter. I've decluttered enough that I actually don't have many journal making supplies anymore. So how I resolved this problem is to do more op shopping more frequently, because I can easily pick up a book like this one or these two and make a journal out of a single book. And so, I'll pay $1 and I can make a journal out of this one book. Same with this. I paid for $2 and I can make a journal out of this. Just to show you, I've already gone ahead and made the covers, and I've already got the feature pages ready to go. I also have most of the other pages put aside in some piles, and they're prepped and ready to go as well. So you can see one book can make one journal. Depending on the book, maybe more than one journal, but yeah, there's no pages in these anymore. As you can see, I've pulled out the pages for those two journals, and the rest of the pages I'm donating to the mental health fundraiser mystery packs. So that's what I've decided. I will go ahead and look for books that inspire me, look for books that I think, I want to make a journal out of that, and go ahead and do that. And these ones, the reason why I got these is because I have a friend who wanted me to make her a frozen journal. So I am making her one plus another one for my shop. So that's my rationale about why I'm now going to op shops very regularly this year, because that's how I get my supplies to be able to continue making journals. Not sure if you noticed, but this year on my channel I've slowed down the amount or number of journals that I've been sharing, and so that is why, because I haven't had the supplies. But now that I've kind of come to this place of, yeah, I will go to op shops regularly and look for books, hopefully we might get a few more journals. Anyway, what else? Let me show you what I got. So this is like my book pile. We'll do that last. Here we have a couple doilies. I always look for doilies. So the very first thing I do when I go into op shops is go straight to the book section. Oh, love it. I go personally for me to look for books for me to read, but also books for journaling. And I'll get to that soon, but I do look for books to make journals out of for my shop, but also books to make personal journals and do personal journaling. But I'll get to that and how I look for different types of books, what I'm looking for, and my intentions for how to use them. But yeah, I also look for doilies. I love embroidered doilies. I found quite a lot that have like the hand-drawn patterns, and some of them are really pretty, but I don't like the hand-drawn. I like the embroidery. So this one I thought was really sweet, because I've never seen it where it goes straight to the edge. Usually the embroidery starts like up here or somewhere, or even in the middle, but this one goes right to the edge there. It's really sweet. A water lily, I believe it is. Gorgeous water lily. And yeah, I love doilies. I have a huge collection of them. I do intend to make some linen doily journals one day. That might be my project after the vintage French journals, maybe. This one, isn't this stunning? Oh my goodness. Anyone who loves golden retrievers, isn't that just absolutely beautiful? So I will definitely scan these, of course, and make them available. I've got enough now to make my next kit, which is really exciting. Love the flowers, especially these blue ones. I will not be able to bring myself to cut this one up. So I'm thinking of just putting this one in my shop as a single listing, because I feel like there's someone who could get a lot more use out of this, who is a golden retriever lover. I feel like that would be the best way to, part with this rather than cutting it up, is to, have someone who actually really appreciates golden retrievers. Like, I love dogs, and golden retrievers are lovely, but it's not my absolute favorite breed in the world. But I feel like some people would absolutely love this. Maybe they had a dog that was a golden retriever, and they will stick it on their wall or something, and it will be just like a really special piece. I have a piece on my wall with a cat that reminds me of Keanu, and I will never cut that one up. That will stay on my wall forever. So I thought maybe that could be what this one is. I found some wonderful vintage music books in a previous haul that I shared on my channel. And there was one book in particular, some of you might remember it, called Funny Girl. And I got quite a few comments from people saying, that's a really good book, don't cut it up, it's probably worth quite a bit of money, all this stuff. And, at first when I found that book, I was like, yep, can't wait to make a journal out of this. This is going to be great. But when I read those comments, I realized that there might be other people out there who would appreciate that book intact more than me cutting it up. Like, I've got no problem cutting it up. No problems at all. For me, that's how I honor a book, how I give it new life, and I get to add my creativity to it. I have no problem cutting things up. But if someone else really resonates with that particular music book and would love to own it just as is, I was thinking maybe I will offer that up as a listing in my shop as well, the same as this. And because I am going to op shops more regularly now, I thought maybe that could be something I do, because I love looking for treasures, but sometimes I find things that, yes, I love them, but I don't have a specific use for them, or I feel like other people might love it more than I would. So for those things, I thought, yeah, maybe I could go thrifting, find stuff for me, find stuff for other people, put them in my shop, and maybe if it goes well, that could be another thing that I do, because I do love looking for treasures and helping others have access to treasures that I find. You know, I've got those music paper packs in my Etsy at the moment for people, because I get lots of comments from people saying, you know, we don't have op shops, or our op shops aren't very good, and we don't have music paper, or we don't have vintage items. So I make up these music paper packs for people who can't find music paper or vintage papers. Like I can do book page packs too. I haven't done those for a while. I used to do them quite regularly, but then I got very selective in what types of books I got. But maybe now that I'm doing this, I can do that again, do some book page packs. I don't know, let me know. This is just a very chatty video. If you have any ideas of things you would like to see in my Etsy, things that are hard to find for you. I did put quite a lot of doily packs in my Etsy as well, and my goodness, they were popular. I put, you know, 5 to 10 doilies in each pack, and all of them sold pretty quickly, and I was like, oh, that was amazing. And I heard from people too, they told me why they purchased them, some of them, and they said it was because they don't ever find pretty doilies where they go. So they were very excited. They were like, thank you so much for putting them in your Etsy, because I can't find them where I am. So I was like, oh, that's really nice. Although I have to say, with my doilies, I tend to want to keep them all, but yeah. Anyway, moving on to this pile. So this one here is a pile of papers. Okay, my favorite supply for journals is papers, just plain papers, but I don't often find them. I look in the stationery area. Some shops don't even have a stationery area, and most that do don't have much. They just have like the plain exercise books, and I don't get those because, you know, I want something more fancy. And so this, I found this stash. We get a lot of backpackers where we live. It's a very touristy destination, so we get a lot of backpackers and people from Britain and France and that kind of thing. And I got these from France, which is bonus. So I'm thinking like a French student came to Bowen to visit, and they donated all of their French books, because yeah, it's so cool. And I love looking at their French papers, because they're kind of different. Like, look at this. This is a grey grid, which is so cool. Double-sided. Love that. Then we have this one, which I've never seen this kind of grid before. So cool. It's like a ledger, and there's so many pages, and the double. So that's another one. Le Papier, I'm not going to attempt the rest of that. But yeah, and then this one's really cool too. This is like that Cahier size. I have no idea how you say that, but that sort of French size. And again, it's got this type of paper. I'm like, how do you write on this paper? But anyway, I think it's so cool. And then this one I picked up as well, and you can see, like, I can't even read it, but it's so cool, made in France. And then like brand new and purple grid. Look at that, so cool. So I'll probably cut off the letters, and because it's stapled, I'll just remove the staples, and then there's a ready-made page to go in a signature. Love it. Oh my goodness, so good. This one's not French, but I love it because it's tracing paper. You know me, I love tracing paper, and I love vellum, and it's so expensive. So to get this whole pad, there's so many in it, for $3, I was like, yeah, I'm taking that. Yay, I love this. I'm running out, so this is brilliant. So I was really happy with this stash, all from one shop. And that's what I mean. I've been to this shop however many times in the last however many years. I've been here 10 years now. I've never found a stash as good as this. So it was just like random that I found this stash. Okay, and then over here, let's do the books. So let's start with these. I actually did a flip through of these over on my Patreon and for my members. If you want to check that out, you can either become a patron or a member. And I just shared how I love anything to do with botanicals, birds, or butterflies, and I love illustrations, not photos or anything like that. So this one I've got, and I think it's lovely. Field guides are great, but field guides are so expensive brand new. So if I can get them secondhand. It's so good. And this one is such a good find. It even comes with a card. I love it when books come with things like that. This is such a good find. Oh my goodness. First of all, it's got a lot of pages. Second of all, it's in my style, with the vintage style, with the florals and, oh my goodness, the sentiments. Look at that. So I'm going to be making maybe 2 journals out of this book, and this will be a start to finish series for my Patreon, because every month I do a start to finish journal making series, and I can't wait to make one out of this. And I'm so excited to go through this page by page and choose which ones will be the covers, which one will be the pages, which ones will be ephemera and pockets. And the idea is that I'll just make the journals out of this book. Like, look at that. That can be a cover. Done. So beautiful. And it's Helen Steiner Rice. You guys, if you followed my channel for a while, you know that I've used many of her books, but I've never seen one illustrated like this before. Okay, so those are those books. Now here, I picked up these couple of books. This one is, you know, one of those books where you kind of have to take your time in an op shop. You think there's nothing there, but if you take your time and go book by book, which, yeah, it takes a long time, book by book by book, and actually open them too, you can see some interesting things. Like, I would never have known that would be in here. I would have looked at this cover and on a normal day I would just skip this. But what I'm trying to do this year is take myself on, people might call them artist dates, just something that I enjoy, you know, having some me time. So I'll go out for an hour and I will go to all 3 of the op shops, and I will take my time. I will go through each bookcase at each op shop and really go book by book. Usually when I go to op shops, I just go for like 5 minutes, look around 5 minutes, walk out, pick up whatever I can see, if there's anything. But sometimes I allow myself longer, just to linger and, you know, just really have some time for me to, you know, have me time. So I do that every now and then. I will just go out and I'll just be like, there's no rush. I can spend as long as I want here in this op shop and go book by book, page by page, and really just find some treasures. Because, yeah, often if I just do a 5-minute walk around, I miss seeing, you know, things inside it that when you just look at the cover, you're like, oh, I won't check out that book. But if you do take the time, you sometimes find some treasures. So, yeah, how fun. There's not too many, but, you know, when books are like $1, it's enough. Okay, and then and that's the other thing. How I also justify it is, you know, I'm building up my supplies again to be able to make journals again, but also any pages that I don't use, they're going straight into the mystery packs. And because there's a shortage of papers at the moment, I thought perfect. All of these pages that I don't use from this range of books can all go into those mystery packs, because there's so many pieces of ephemera and die cuts and things, embellishments. I've got a huge basket full of them, but I just can't do anything with them because I've run out of papers. So I thought, let's go op shopping, find some great books, the books that I look for, use some of the pages that I won't be using and add them to the mystery pack. So I can now put up more mystery packs. Yay! So excited. So yeah, that's that one, a bit of a floral book. Then this one here, I really love the old books. So vintage books are my favorite. I hardly ever find them in Bowen though. Very, very rare to find them. So this is the only one I found. So I picked it up. You know, it's not the most flash book or anything, but I love the color of the pages. I love the unique layout. Anything to do with like vocabulary and grammar and stuff, they tend to have cool pages. I've got quite a few vintage French grammar books because the layout is just really cool to use. You can use them to make envelopes and pockets and things. You can bind them into journals. I actually got these 3 books more for me, for personal journaling. Why do I need 3? I don't. But the idea here is, I'm not actually sure. I did get them with the idea that I could use them for personal journaling, but obviously I don't need 3. But they will sit on my shelf, and whatever comes first. If I feel inspired to turn these into a journal for my shop, that's what I'll do. But if I feel inspired to journal in it, that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to have these 3 on my shelf, and whichever comes first, that's what I will do with them. But that's why I got these 3, because I know I could use them for me for personal journaling, or I could also use them for a journal for my shop. How I know? The spine is quite wide. I can fit a couple signatures into these, or maybe a thick embellished single signature. I don't want really thin books. The second thing is the hardcover. I look for hardcover books. The third thing is, these are just a really nice size. They're kind of smaller, and that's what I was looking for my personal journal. This was my inspiration. I shared this in a previous video, and I will eventually do a flip through. But I filled this in one sitting. It took me about 3-4 hours, and it was the most wonderful time of my life, I could say. I love journaling so much, and this just felt like, it just felt like what I needed at the time. It was therapeutic, it was enjoyable, I loved it, and this kind of transformed how I see my journaling. You know, I'm going to do my daily journaling, and I'm going to do other types of journaling, but I'm really loving this type of journaling where I just let it all out. Whatever needs to come out just comes out. No judgment, not thinking too much, and just doing, just creating and seeing what comes out. So I need a small book for that. Otherwise, it's, you know, you don't want to take 10 hours to fill a journal. So I got these ones because they're small journals. I love this. It came with a photograph in it. How cool. That will go into a journal. And the idea is, if I'm going to do these for me, they will be altered books. So I will rip out pages and I will glue things onto the pages. I will paint onto them. There'll be mixed media type art junk journals, and they'll be altered books. If I end up using them for journals in my shop, I will strip them, and that's the other thing I look for. I make sure the spine can come away from the pages. So I know I can use this either as a personal altered book journal, or I can use it for my shop. I don't know which one I'll do yet. I have no idea. If I do it for me, I think I will put a layer of white over this because it's a bit manky. And actually, I really do want to use this one for me. I think this one will be for me, this one will be for my shop, and I'm undecided about this one because the cover's really interesting. But this one I think will be for my shop unless my personal journaling comes first. But since I already have this, I don't need 3. This is my priority to use this one first. And, you know, if this one stays on my shelf by the time I finish this, then I might use this one. But I actually think this one might be for my shop because it's just really nice size. It's a black cover. I can add a beautiful image on the front. This one, I just love the color, that tealy mint color. I want to add some white paint over here, not too much, like just so the teal peeks through. I might put a picture on the front. I don't know. I'll black out all those words or white out all those words with the white paint. Yeah, the more I'm talking about it, the more excited I am to use this one as a personal journal. This one for my shop, and we'll decide what we do with that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this chatty video and update with what I'm doing in terms of op shopping and what I look for, and my personal journaling. And maybe my foray into being more of a supply shop as well as a journal making shop for vintage treasures and other treasures that I find. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite find was from this haul, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons supporting me in February. I really hope you absolutely love it there. If you would like to become a patron, the link is down below in the description box, and my Patreon is where you get access to the start to finish journal making series each month, sneak peeks and first access to all of my creations, and depending on your tier level, printable kits, every single printable kit from my Etsy plus a new one each month. There are mail tiers and community tiers and all sorts of things. Check the description box down below also for links to my courses, for my journaling courses and creative courses, places to find me, and ways to contact me if you ever have any questions or video requests.